Okie dokie. So while the staff come around and clear away our dinners, it's time to move on. And what I'd like to do at this stage is introduce Mr. Rick Harvey. Rick received the Victorian Pearcey Entrepreneur Award in the year 2000 and is our long-serving national coordinator for the Entrepreneur Award program. Rick will introduce the 2024 National Pearcey Entrepreneur Award.
Well, good evening, everyone. I must admit, after Roy's talk, I'm a little bit depressed. And I'm hoping that by introducing you a few of these national entrepreneurs, so we run an entrepreneurial award in every state of Australia, and then the recipients of the state awards come together for a national award. I guess the question is, why would we run an entrepreneurial award? I mean, the Pearcey Foundation. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you a different story of Trevor Pearcey, because he was actually a bit of an entrepreneur himself. So you rock back to the 1940s, 1946. He's working for CSIRO or CSIR, let's call it CSIRO, and he rocks up to his boss, and he says, "Hey, I got an idea." Trevor, come in. What's going on? He said, "I've got a theoretical design for a store program digital computer." Now, in those days, everything was mechanical, and a computer was actually a person that actually crunched through numbers and, produced tables of values. And they said, Trevor, that's interesting. What is a store program digital computer? And he said, well, this is like an electronic brain. It's like the most amazing computing calculator thing you've ever seen. It can probably do hundreds or thousands of times faster and more accurate. And what's more, it's programmable. It means you'll be able to do things that we haven't thought of yet. And his bosses scratched their head and said, okay, Trevor, what do you need? And Trevor said, well, gee, here's the problem. I need these new things called valves. I need a lot of valves. I need thousands of valves. I need truckloads of valves. And you know what? I need a room about the size of a theatre. I need a whole team of people. I need enough electricity to power a small suburb. At which point his bosses probably should have said, you know what, Trevor, you're crazy. But CSIRO was always a forward-thinking organisation. And they were doing a lot of calculations. They were Department of Radio Physics, they were doing astronomy, they were doing also radar, they were all this sort of stuff. And so they said, Trevor, okay, why don't you go and build this thing? And in fact, off he did, and he built CIRAC, and it was the fourth store program digital computer. Australia was the third country. The English, they've just come out of the war. Tons and tons of money gone into it. The Americans built something. It actually didn't work, but they technically ran a store program digital computer, so they get number 2, and we were number 3. So we were right there on the leading edge. In fact, Roy mentioned that it was actually launched in I think it was 1952 or 51. Australia ran the first computer science conference. That wasn't called computer science then because it hadn't been invented yet. People came from all around the world to see what this amazing machine did. And you heard on the video and from Roy also what it did. Now, when Trevor Pearcey died in 1998 and the Pearcey Foundation was formed, well, we wanted to give a medal for lifetime contributions. We wanted to have a Hall of Fame. We wanted to talk about entrepreneurs. Now, in the spectrum of awards, there's a lot of awards. Company awards, AIIA gives the I awards. Companies doing fantastic things, good on them. Then there's professional awards, the Australian Computer Society, fantastic. Good people in their ordinary jobs doing amazing things, but it's part of their ordinary job. And then there are entrepreneurs. And these are the people who have an idea. They're going to change the world. They think it's fantastic. They thump the table. Everyone says it's impossible. They quit their job. They beg and borrow money to try and make it happen. They beaver away for years and years and years and years and years. And some of them make it and some of them get onto the world stage. And indeed, tonight, I'd like to go through and some of those people, like every year, we have amazing entrepreneurs in Australia who are doing things on the world stage. And probably the thing to realise is they are in their own domain, they are best in the world. So if we have a look at the slides on who we got up, let me just rock around here and I'll just give you a bit of a feel of the state entrepreneurs. Just a quick comment, Tasmania and South Australia, who are the smaller states, didn't quite get enough nominations this year, so that's why they're missing, but otherwise they come up with also fantastic people. Okay, start off with Peter Vandermeer over in Western Australia. Okay, so this guy in the chip design world. integrated circuits. He's amazing. So he starts off building chips in the 80s and all sorts of things, and he's fascinated by the way the human brain works and how neurons fire, and he writes an entire book on it. And he wants to build a processor that is based on, build a neural processor. And he beavers away for years and years and years, and he's actually built one. And the thing about it is that it's optimized for artificial intelligence. Now, he didn't know that he knew it was coming along, it was going to be good. He didn't know it was going to go bananas like it does now. But the problem with AI is that it's very hard to train, takes a very long time to train, uses a truckload of CPU, uses a truckload of memory, and so you've got to put it in the cloud. On the other hand, he wants to build a device, a little chip like this, where you can put AI on a chip. This means it can go on an end device, can go in transport, can go in motor vehicles, or can go in space travel. And that's the company he's built. And they are doing amazing things on the world stage, and there's some contracts in negotiation now. It means they're going to be a very major company in the world. Okay, round of Victoria, Chris Piastri. In the motor car world, in the Formula One world, this guy is a rock star. Now, people might know his son is Oscar Piastri, Formula One racing car driver. Well, his dad builds engine management systems for cars, or for all sorts of vehicles, actually. And this includes GM and BMW and McLaren and what have you. And the way he started was, in an engine, when you inject the fuel into the motor and the spark plug ignites it, it explodes, and that's what gives it the power. And so what he did was he modeled that wave front, and so he knows exactly how that's going to perform and exactly how that's going to expand and exactly the right time to move the pistons. And he can get an order of magnitude, up to an order of magnitude improvement in performance, but by tuning them. And then around that, he goes and builds the engine management system, the engine diagnostic system, the monitoring systems, and Formula One racing cars are traveling at 200 or 300 kilometers an hour. Real-time feeds. They can tell exactly how it's doing and tune it in real time. Well, this guy is a megastar. It's like $1 billion company. Here he's sitting in our backyard and nobody knows about it. Okay, next one. Let's go to ACT. Ian Crosser and David from the ACT. In the defence industry, these guys are best in the world. They're supplying defence technologies, radar technologies into the US, and the Navy, the Army, the whole military. They started off in the 80s, wanted to build electronics in Australia. In the defence industry, there wasn't much of an industry building electronics for the Navy. They're ex-Navy guys. So they said, okay, let's form a company. And they built CA Technologies, and they started building stuff. And one of the things they started building was these phase array technologies. And phase array radar is extraordinary because it's modular. Think of like solar panels. You can keep adding and adding and adding. So they can build radars that are small and modular. They can build them ones that are like huge, like 5-10 meters, and you put them on warships. All the Australian warships have got these phase array. And the Americans and everyone else in the world is trying to do this, trying to track missiles at full supersonic speeds, which they can do, right? Look at the Australians go, this is amazing. And they now have contracts with the US military in particular, extraordinary contracts. And they are a trusted source right next to the US military, building stuff for defence systems. Absolutely amazing. Okay, here we go. Professor Michael Bury from New South Wales. Okay, in the field of quantum, people are trying to do quantum all the way around the world. There's people building hardware that they're near absolute zero. People are trying to build them at room temperature. They're trying to get these qubits to scale. And the problem in quantum is noise. You build these quantum computers, and the noise scales faster than you can scale out the qubit. So what's he doing? He's raised $150 million, and they're building the software that sits on top of this hardware. So hardware, really noisy, doesn't scale. Build the software, build the error correction, and now suddenly quantum computing can scale. And some of the biggest players in the world, all the way around the world, looking here in Australia and say, hey, this is what we do in quantum for error correction and software. Okay, and then we just heard about Andrew Bate. I haven't had a lot of time to talk to Andrew because it was only announced tonight, but as I understand it, he's in the agricultural world. he's trying to build technologies that help agriculture. Now, the way I think about it, I might have it wrong, apology, Andrew, if I don't quite get this right. But you know, there's little Rumba, whatever, vacuum cleaners that go around and they dock themselves and they work it all out, right? So what he's trying to do on the farm where you do harvesting and all those other stuff you do, they tend to get these I don't know, harvesters. To make them scale, they're trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger. What happens if you go the other end? What happens if you make them smaller and smaller and smaller? We have lots and lots and lots of them, and they can all communicate with one another themselves. And I don't know, they probably even go and dock themselves and what have you. And his company's called Swarm Farm Robotics. And in this, he's gone out on a limb, but in the world, this is absolutely amazing stuff. Right, so it comes back to the Pearcey Foundation. We have a national committee that consists of each of the state chairs, and somehow we got to choose one of these amazing entrepreneurs as representative of the group that we're going to call our national entrepreneur. Any one of these people could have done it. I mean, they're all extraordinary in their own way, and somehow we have to choose one of them, which, as we said, we've taken a risk, made a difference, is an inspiration, and we also add another few little spicy bits like the fact that they're global, for example. And after every year, it's grueling. Trust me. Thank you to all the judges here who were on the committee, and we had to work our way through it. But we have selected one today, and it's my great pleasure to announce the 2024 Pearcey State National Entrepreneur Award goes to Ian Crosser and David Gore from ACT. And David, come up here, please. And Roy, would you like to pop up here and maybe present Ian with the award, please? Now, Ian's a very humble man, and I've asked Ian if he wouldn't mind coming up and saying a few words. Maybe he'll just say two, which is thank you, but I'm hoping maybe he might say a few more. Ian, please.
Thank you very much. It is quite humbling. Look, I've got some notes here, which may take me a day or two to get through, but just bear with me. On behalf of David Gore, who was my partner in starting the business, the staff of CEA Technologies, both past and present, and myself, we thank you for the recognition and honour of this award. As a young graduate engineer more than 50 years ago, I became aware of Trevor Pearcey. What I didn't know was I now live in a house about 6 houses away from where he lived. How did I find out? I had a gentleman walk up to me earlier in the evening, his son. That just knocked me for 6. That early recognition of what was an amazing computer just was one of those moments in my life that set me on a track. And I've never left that track. And I now have a team of some 500 engineers and technicians performing miracles. They design and build amazing pieces of equipment. And the majority of that equipment is made from Australian outcomes. We do everything from machining, precise machining, all the way through to finally delivering very large systems. We couldn't do that without the background that Australia had nearly totally lost and is starting to recover a bit, but we've got a long way to go. We saw that tonight in a very dramatic set of view graphs. It is that we have lost more than we've gained, and we continue to do so. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I think we need to start looking back and understanding the steps that occurred where we built our electronics industry into a very good state, and then suddenly it just declined. And more than likely it declined with change of governments, change of focus, change of world influences. We've got to learn to be resilient and do things better. It is amazing to me that this organisation has so many bright, successful entrepreneurs, engineers, scientists, people just having good ideas and pushing them through. Good on you all. You deserve medals. Well done, and thank you very much. Thanks.
Congratulations once again to Ian and to David. I'd now like to welcome to the stage Helen McHugh. Helen is president of the ACS, but tonight, as we mark the 75th anniversary of turning on CIRAC, she's going to share with us some reminiscences of her father's work with Trevor Pearcey. Helen?
Hello. Yes, so I lend a lovely flavour to tonight, and it is my history. So the running gag with Wayne is he often mentions me in these gatherings and go, well, who's Helen, right? Well, I am now the Australian Computer Society's female president, the second female president, but thank you, and I'm very honoured. But I do have a history and a heritage. So my dad worked with Trevor Pearcey in 51. So I have watched this industry grow, and they love Owen as well. You know, we're the descendants. Roy, I think it sounds like you're also descendants. So we're descendants of those founders, and I think we're very proud to be able to now continue in our industry, in this wonderful industry. Okay, so there's a photo of the original radio physics at Sydney University, and the guy in the checkered sweater is my dad. Now, actually, Owen, I could get you to see. Can you spot your dad there? He's right there, isn't he? Yeah, and so that's part of our heritage. And they are the founders of our industry, and it's quite exciting. If we could just flick to the next slide. And then here's the future. So I am proud mother of children, but these are my granddaughters, right? And they are already showing traits of what's called computational thinking. They love to pattern match. They love to play with technology. And so this is exciting to support our next generation. I have some prepared notes, but I think I'll just go on with the theory that we've had about Australia was the clever country, is the clever country. We are the founders. We did amazing things, as Phil has said. We did amazing things with technology, and we really should be doing it. I mean, Kate's here with doing what we do, and I think that is really important. So ACS is very much championing building the skills of people, IT people in this country, and so that we should encourage, and it's frustrating for me and for many that we aren't actually championing and proceeding the way we should, and I think we should do whatever we can to improve what we do. And that's all. I think that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helen. Okay, so now I'd like to invite Wayne back to the stage to introduce the 2024 Pearcey Hall of Fame, and I'd like Kate to come up and join him as she's going to present the awards.
Thanks, Jordan. Tonight we're announcing the elevation of 3 eminent Australians to the Pearcey Hall of Fame. One of the 3 will also be awarded the 2024 Pearcey Medal. A brief biography of all 3 remarkable Australians is shown in this evening's program booklet. If you haven't looked at it yet, please do. There's several of them on your tables, and I would encourage you all to read these bios and please take a copy home with you. They will be, as of tonight or tomorrow, we should have all of these up on our website anyway, but it's quite a remarkable read when you take the time. So it's now my honour to introduce to you our first 2 2024 Hall of Famers. The first one is a wonderful lady who I've been sitting next to all night, Jan Cornweevil. Jan has worked in IT for over 50 years and has been an active member of the Western Australian Computer Society, the ACS, for that whole period. From the mid-70s, Jan laid the foundations for establishing recognition for computing with disability, which she continues to actively support today. Jan was the first female ACS branch chair in WA and was instrumental in coordinating the first ACS National Conference in WA. And Jan continues to mentor women in the ACS too today. In 1981, Jan was awarded a prestigious Churchill Fellows Association scholarship, which enabled her to undertake research work in Europe in the emerging area of using ICT to assist disabled persons. Our 2024 Hall of Famer started the first special interest group for computing assisting disabled people, and she was at the forefront of instituting the early recognition and awareness of a range of accessibility issues in Western Australia. She continues to serve in this field and is an important contributor to the establishment of software testing for the students on the autism spectrum. In her most recent role, Jan has worked for several years in the Curtin University-based Autism Academy for Software Quality Assurance, where she has single-handedly pioneered students on the autism spectrum to sit International Software Testing Qualifications Board certification examinations, which a number have passed with quite outstanding results. It's great to have Jan present here this evening. She's travelled all the way from Perth to receive her Hall of Fame certificate tonight from none other than my colleague Senator Kate Mundy, a Hall of Fame recipient herself, as we heard, in 2017. And we're also pleased to present Jan with a copy of the book about CSIRO. And I'd now like to ask I'd like to ask Jan to just say a few words to conclude this award.
Thank you. Yes, I started in computing in London in 1964, and that was when Churchill died as well. So I never dreamt that I would be awarded a Churchill Fellowship. I was running a small special interest group in the ACS, Computer Society, and I thought for disability, and I thought this is more extreme than mining companies and who the people I was working with. And so that was why I put in for it, for the practical application of it. It was so early that I thought at first they'd made the wrong mistake because I kept meeting engineers, not software people at all. So there was no thought of the system that the people lived in, which is affected by country, family, community. So it has been a good, and I did have a lot of support from the ICT industry when I came back, because in those early days, Churchill Fellows didn't get any help with the work they did when they got back. So it was a combination of the industry, the Computer Society, and people, and we were able to disseminate information. So since then, technology is way ahead, but so are a lot of disabled people, because they have their own voice now. So, but on the autism sector, it is still, it's more social, but as you said, some of them have got brilliant marks. I actually think more than most testers in the industry. And it does help them to get to university without English, because most of them are not good at English. So the professor I worked with, that was his main aim, to build up a portfolio to get them into university, where if they follow their passion, they do brilliantly. So, thank you. Okay, I've got to get down.
Thank you very much, Jan. Our second Hall of Fame recipient this evening is Professor Andrew Zirak. Andrew is an innovator and entrepreneur in the global quantum technologies ecosystem, leading teams in both industry and academia. Professor Zirak is a recognised global leader in the field of quantum computing, and along with his fellow UNSW academics, Professor Michelle Simmons, AO, 2023 Pearcey Orator, he has been at the forefront of establishing Australia as a world leader in the rapidly emerging field of quantum computing. He is CEO and founder of Dirac, a full-stack quantum computing company employing the silicon CMOS qubits developed by his team at the University of New South Wales, Sydney, over the past 2 decades. Prior to launching Dirac, he was the foundational director of the New South Wales node of the Australian National Fabrication Facility, where he spoke of quantum computing at our Pearcey Centenary celebration in March 2019. Andrew was a key participant over 20 years ago in the establishment of the ARC Centre for Quantum Computer Technology by Professor Bob Clark, which now maintains the world's largest focused collaboration on silicon-based quantum computing. Andrew holds a PhD in physics from the University of Cambridge, UK, and a BSc Honours from the University of Sydney. Notably, Andrew received the 2011 Eureka Prize for Scientific Research, and his demonstration of a CMOS-based quantum logic was selected by the Physics World UK as one of the world's top 10 scientific breakthroughs for 2015. He is concurrently a Scientia Professor in Quantum Engineering at the UNSW in Sydney, an ARC Laureate Fellow, and a member of the Executive Board of the Sydney Quantum Academy. We were hoping Andrew could be here, but unfortunately, this very evening, he is holding a major company strategic review with his board, and it will continue all day tomorrow. Just bad timing. Instead, when I met Andrew in Sydney last week, I invited him to make a short video, which we'll now show. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew demonstrates, in my opinion, just how Australia is one of the 3 nations leading the world in quantum computing. USA, China, and Australia. We are the best. I will now ask Senator Lundy to present the Hall of Fame certificate, which I will accept on Andrew's behalf. Now, we've got to look there. Thanks, Andrew. Right, and we'll now show the video. Thank you.
I'd like to begin by thanking everyone at the Pearcey Foundation for this incredible honour. I'm really sad that I can't be there tonight at Victoria Park to attend these Pearcey National Awards this year. Unfortunately, I have another commitment that was long in the calendar that just couldn't be moved. But I want everyone to appreciate just how much it means to me to be judged by my peers in the community to be worthy of this incredible honour. Trevor Pearcey is an absolute giant of Australian information and computing technology. CIRAC was an incredible achievement back when it was done, Australia's first electronic digital computer, and of course one of the world's first. All of us owe a huge amount to Trevor's legacy, and I think that the Pearcey Foundation does an incredible job to keep that legacy alive, and also to continue to build on the ICT and computing capabilities within our industry. I'd particularly like to thank the Foundation Chair Wayne Fitzsimmons and also Secretary Jordan Green, who do so much to honour Trevor's legacy and to keep the community strong. The development of CIRAC was incredibly important at the time and remains an important legacy today. It's sad in my mind that Australia, that was in such an incredible position in the development of the first digital computers, and yet in a way was not able to capitalise on that by continuing to invest in the computing industry here in Australia. Our company, Dirac, is now working to build quantum computers, and we've got the benefit of being in an amazing ecosystem where, in fact, Australia is in a leadership position worldwide in quantum computing. Our particular technology focuses on the use of standard silicon CMOS integrated circuits, which I'm sure many in the community are very familiar with, of course, underpins all of modern technology. And we've worked out a way to use standard chip manufacture to make extremely powerful quantum computers that can be made at an affordable price to make quantum computing ubiquitous and low energy consumption in order to make it attractive commercially. So we'd really like to imagine that Dirac can be part of making Australia a leader in quantum computing worldwide. It will be a global business, but I firmly believe that we can see Australia as an advanced manufacturing hub for this technology, as well as developing the design. So once again, I just want to say what an incredible honour it is to be listed in the Hall of Fame amongst some incredible other Australian pioneers who have worked in this field. And thank you again to the Pearcey Foundation, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful evening tonight, and I look forward to being with you at these events in the future. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Wayne and Kate, for presenting the Hall of Fame. And congratulations again to Jan and to Andrew. We are very fortunate to have Australians of such stature in our ICT community. Now, we will take a short break for dessert, and then we'll come back for the grand finale of the evening, the Pearcey Medal. As we break, I'd like to invite Ian and Roy and Jan and Kate and Rick and Wayne to please come forward now for a few quick photos with the photographer down the end.